Hello and welcome into 2022. It is officially the new year, so happy new year on this New Year's Day. We are one day ahead of the Minnesota Vikings Sunday night football game against the Green Bay Packers on the road in Lambeau Field in the freezing cold. It feels like it is all but officially going to be the last meaningful game of the 2021 season for the Vikings because a loss there, and I think most of us are predicting a loss, will plummet their playoff odds dramatically into an insurmountable state that they will absolutely not be able to overcome. I think it drops to like a 2% chance to make the playoffs with a loss at Green Bay this Sunday. So before I get into that, I do want to mention, if you're not already, follow me on my other social media platforms. I'll put them up here on the screen. I'm going to try to branch this brand out a little bit more, grow the audience, because that's always been the goal, is to interact with you guys that watch and comment on the videos. So we're going to try to reach out, and you can also follow me on those platforms for more content than you're probably used to here, because I don't post and upload videos a lot here. I try to do one a day. That sometimes is not possible. At the minimum, you see about 3 videos a week, so you can always get more of my takes on those other platforms as well. So feel free to follow me on those. And if I get enough followers on TikTok Live, I'll do lives a little bit more often, and we can really interact with each other. So that's the goal. That is the speech for that. Let's talk about the starting quarterback situation for this Sunday against the Packers. Now, I wanted to discuss this, and I kind of touched base on it on yesterday's video, because this feels like it deserves its own sort of commentary and discourse, because I want to, sort of go over the disconnect between people who make real life football decisions at the professional level and the fans that sort of make decisions from an outsider's point of view, thinking that the obvious answer is always the right answer. And I want you to keep in mind the philosophical term Occam's razor as we go through this, where the right answer usually requires the fewest assumptions as we go through. And I try to explain why Trevor Siemian has been selected to be the starting quarterback this Sunday over Kellen Mond, even though that is a decision that we likely all disagree with. So let's get into it. So the number one reason that Mike Zimmer, Rick Spielman, Minnesota Vikings, the people who are making real-time football decisions for this team, are going to start Trevor Siemian over a rookie who has been inactive all season is because they still want to win. Now, we all believe that the Minnesota Vikings are not going to the playoffs, and even if they do, it will be a disaster. So we're all kind of Jim Moore. We're like, we're playoffs? I hope we can win a game. That's all of us right now. That's our mentality. But that's not the mentality of the people working behind the scenes, the coaching staff, and I would argue most of the players. If there is a mathematical chance that they can get into the playoffs, they are going to be full steam ahead. Now, you may be wondering, why do they think Trevor Siemian gives them their best opportunity to win a football game? Well, Trevor Siemian has been in the system, as Mike Zimmer said. This isn't stuff that he's just making up to cover his ass and explain away his decision. These are all logical, conclusions that he's making that give him the best opportunity to win a football game. Now, they'll probably rely heavily on the run with Dalvin Cook and make sure that Siemian throws as little as possible. But he's kind of right. If the goal is to win the game against the Packers, I would argue that he's correct, that Trevor Siemian presents the best possible opportunity for that outcome to be realized. So we can't sit here as fans who are disconnected from the everyday ins and outs of what it takes to make real life decisions for this football team and argue that this is completely unbased, because it's not. And I know people don't want to hear that, myself included. I would rather see Kellen Mond, because I'm in the mindset of most other fans that, the most common expression that we say is, let's put him in to see what he's got, because he's a rookie, he's got mobility. We're very excited about the unknown. We all argue that Trevor Siemian is a known commodity, which he very well is. He's only got a handful of starts in this league. They've been pedestrian at best. Somebody astutely pointed out to me on Twitter today that he has, in his last start, a very similar stat line to what was the stat line for Ian Book in his first career start, a 4-string quarterback out of Notre Dame, making a start for the New Orleans Saints because their quarterback room was devastated by injuries and COVID and what have you. So we kind of know where Trevor Siemian is, and we as fans who are excited about the potential of next year and the potential of the future are more interested in the unknown commodity that is Kellen Moore. And I know there's some people out there like, pounding the table for Kyle Sloter, which I can get behind that. I love Kyle Sloter. He's a fan favorite, but that's hyper unrealistic. So it was either always going to be Trevor Siemian or Kellen Mond. I don't think it was ever going to be Kyle Sloter. But, Mike Zimmer even said that Kellen Mond being the starting quarterback for this game Sunday against the Packers was really never in the cards. I'm paraphrasing, but that's sort of the way that he put it, because even though we have all come to the realization that this is the last hurrah for the Zimmer regime. He is still going to try to win football games. And I know the argument is that we want to see what Kellen Mond has to do. Why not try him out for the future? Mike Zimmer doesn't stand to gain anything from doing that, because all he's going to do is showcase the abilities or the inabilities of a rookie quarterback that he's not going to be around to develop in year two. Mike Zimmer and this coaching staff will not see year two of Kellen Mond in Minnesota. That's just not going to happen. So why give his successor, whoever's going to be coaching next year, the highlight film that they're going to need? That does him no good. And if Kellen Mond gave him the best opportunity to win, he would absolutely start him. This isn't something that isn't just a completely misguided decision. This is something that is grounded in reason, whether we like it or not. And then the other thing is that with Kellen Mond, this isn't something to protect him. I'm just worried about it being a disaster 2012 Joe Webb or, Josh Freeman style game where he goes in completely unprepared in an environment that is hostile, where everybody in the stands probably wants to kick his ass, and then just totally collapses and explodes. It can always get worse. It can always get way worse. So I think keeping Kellen Mond on the sideline as the backup is the smart decision, is a smart football decision, because at the end of the day, the people who are making the real-time decisions for this football team trying to win games know more about what's going on than we do, and myself included. I'm included in that category. We sit here and talk about Kellen Mond not knowing what he has. He's been with the team the entire year. The coaching staff has been working with him. They haven't just pushed him off to the side and said, we'll deal with you later. They're still giving him the time of day to try to figure out where he fits with this franchise. And if he hasn't come along yet, it's likely that the Vikings know, this coaching staff knows, that Kellen Mond does not give them the best chance to win a football game this Sunday on the road against the Green Bay Packers. So they are going to go with Sean Mannion because jobs are on the line and the season is on the line, and there is nothing for them to gain by checking out the rookie in a game where you are still mathematically alive to get into the playoffs, and you need a must-win over your division rival, one of the best teams in the NFL, arguably the entire NFC this year. So in hindsight, it makes no sense. So that is sort of my, explanation as to try to, for maybe the first time this season, defend Mike Zimmer in one of his decisions, but it makes sense to me, and I sort of understand it. And I think we as fans can do a better job to sort of, take a step back, look things in a bigger picture, and sort of try to understand where they're coming from, because, as I said in yesterday's video, there are players that still want to win. They still believe that they have a shot at the playoffs. They believe in the mentality, let's get in and see what we can do, even though I would argue that's misguided in this league. So they're not going to quit, and there's no point for them to try out a rookie quarterback in this situation this week. Now, if they lose this week and, they're out of the playoffs, by all means, start Kellen Mond next week at home in Chicago. That's a more favorable matchup. It's a more friendlier environment, and it would be a meaningless regular season game where nothing else matters other than just to see, who on this roster wants to be here. So that is my argument. That is my explanation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.